Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of me playing Continue at You. I've been playing around with all my setup here, and I've got OBS running and all these microphones and stuff, right? But you know how it is. I'm always trying to find new stuff. So check this out. I've kind of found out something here, and this is a little ridiculous, but it's like it's a little extra. And it's kind of fun, But you have this. Yay! Yay! Bow hand! Ooh. Oh gosh, I have too much time on my hands sometimes, don't I? Anyways, let's talk about some continuo now. Now that we've had that, let's play some Telemann. We're in tune. Only minimal buzzing. It's getting a little colder out here. And that means we're going to get some buzzing. So this one is Novelty, right? This is from that book again. And I'm just going to play it, and then we're going to talk about it. So we have... Sort of fun little piece, all right? So obviously I've chosen to play this with a slightly more aggressive approach. Not really aggressive, but I think Novelty, it kind of is like, it's fun. It's not boring. So I like to think about this, especially with playing the cello, you really want to add in that life, and you want to add in that crunch and that verb. You know what I mean? I'm all about that adding in that crunch and that verb, right? However, let's just play this a couple of different ways, and let's just see if maybe we can have a more conservative approach, okay? So, starting from the beginning here, we have our... So I would always say, if somebody asks you to play something more conservatively, if they're like, that's a little bit too much for me, lengthen some stuff out, and then play with a little bit more bow, a little bit less pressure, of course, like, try and make it so that the core sort of blends a little bit more. And then they'll be like, wow, that's so much more sonorous, or they'll tell you some adjective that they like. So we have... Adding a little slur there. I don't know if I loved that, though, so we're going to do that one more time. And you see, what I was attempting to do was round off the corners here, but I think I rounded off a little bit too much, right? And so that just sounded sluggish, right? And that's what you want to avoid, is making it sound sluggish, because I don't think sluggish is a good adjective that you want anybody saying about your cello playing. So we have, I would say with this first note, we want like a... With the exception of that end on there, I really liked that. So you notice how, let's play them back to back. This was my version. You notice how I'm planting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show you why I made that choice in a second, but we're going to play the second time, and let's go the... So I would say, for me, if I was playing with an organ and this was made to be sort of like a sleepy thing, like, the soprano or whoever is singing this wants it to be nice and sleepy, the second one would be much more appropriate. Because you notice, what I wasn't doing, though, is... It doesn't sound like... Right? Or that just sounds terrible, right? And so that's what I mean by sluggish, is you notice how all the third beats, they're too much. There's too much extra note action going on, and what it does is it takes the line and it makes it into a straight line, and that's just no good. You know, there's no direction. So, but the idea is good though. What you're trying to do is you're trying to lengthen it out and make it a bit more like palatable so that it fits into what else is going around you, right? And so let's think about that one more time, and let me just think here. We have our, so you'll notice with our soft texture here, we have our that's the basic stroke there. You'll notice how I'm going out and then two little, so we have our, all right, as opposed to our, notice how I'm doing that instead of, right? And so simple little thing like that totally changes the texture of this piece. All right, so what you want with these, if you're trying to play this a little bit softer, you're going to do the scoot, right? I just call it the scoot, where you start the note, and it's like starting the note, you know, you want to find the point at which it's going to come off, and then do that. Now, you notice how that's a really nice attack. That has a nice, like, Now what you want to do is about half as much chord. You go, and you see how you start the note, but it's like you're starting the note like in this much bow, and then you're gonna, so it's two separate notes that go 1, 2, 1, as opposed to 1, 2, 1. That even worked better than, right? That's like, ugh. But yeah. So nice and fluffy, nice and fluffy. Now let's do it my way. We have a, I even threw in some down bows there. And so what I like to do, I do da up up down up down up up down down bum be dum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum bum be dee dee, right? And so there I like to throw in a down down, because we put a little pause in there. So we go like this. So you notice what that does is there's an octave there. That's going to be some action. So we go, ooh, and adding a down down there and a pause really gives you the idea where it goes, right? Mini sort of a hemiola, like a fake hemiola. We've done da dum ba dum, right? It's like a fake hemiola. And of course, you can do this both ways. So, you know, if the singer doesn't like that, you can just do it that way, and then a down, up, up, as opposed to the down, da-dum, bottom, right? But I like to do that. I think it adds a little bit of fun texture. So in the second half, I added in a little bit of diminution, a little bit of extra, a little extra in there. Let's just talk about it. So we have a, so this line, for me, I would say, this is a great chance to think about how are we going to diminute this. So for me, I want extra energy here. Oops, I want it here, and maybe here, and then not here, yeah, here. And then I kind of want to highlight the fact that there's a sharp there, right? You see this little sneaky D sharp there? And technically it's here, but we're going to talk about why I don't want to put it there. I want to put it there. Okay, so we kind of have our thing planned out here. And so extra energy, you would think chords. I would say do not think chords, think energy, right? And the energy, the sort of the harmonic and rhythmic pinning of this piece is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's a great guide. And we have our, right? And it's just, that's kind of boring, right? You'll notice even in the soprano line, there's extra stuff going on here, right? They have 16th notes, they've got all this stuff. So we want to sort of help them have the energy, push the energy here. So what I would say is let's just go, right? We have a 6 chord. And right, which is just a sixth above. So we have a D there, and I would say, and on this one, we don't need to go anywhere. It's just supposed to be, right? And so just repeat the D. And then so we have bum, 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 bum. Okay, and then over here, let's add in some extra. All right, there we go. So you'll notice we have, and we have a C sharp 6 chord, which would be first inversion, which would have sixth above. So we have. So now I'm going to show you guys what I mean by we're gonna add in that D sharp on this chord right here, and I'm going to show you why I don't. I mean, it just sounds weird, right? You could do that. Because that's definitely the important note. Because you don't want to do an A, or there is no A. Yeah, there's an A. You don't want to do an A, and you don't really want to do a B, because you know, you kind of want to move stepwise there, and a D sharp makes a lot of sense to connect into that because we have a leading tone that goes up, right? D sharp to E. So it makes sense that you would want to go. So, but if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, it just, I don't know. So I actually think if you want to also do this D sharp here, I think you should also add a little octave drop with a nice decrescendo. And so what that sounds like in context is a, and it adds a little bit of extra spice to where it is very clearly the end of a phrase, right? You want to think about that. It looks like the soprano, whatever they're saying, or whoever this is, they're ending this, right? Because we have a rest here. We want to end it. And so I like to think about it. This is like special. So it's kind of like, ooh, that's different. That ends, right? And then if you think about that, we have also, it kind of restarts itself down. The next part we have, the, and again, I'm just going to say this. I want some extra energy here. This is all fine. Let's put a little extra here. Maybe we can put a low D here or something like that. Put a little extra zhuzh on there. So we have... So you'll notice I am deciding to super lean into the hemiola here, into this. So I'm doing D dum bottom bottom bomb, right? And I really want to put that extra D in there to then get that nice hemiola. Don't ask me to spell that. So we have, again, in that measure 18, you'll notice we have a 6 chord. Now we have so of course we want to put a nice little comma right here and then a nice down up down, so we have a G G G. All right, so let's just talk about that. Actually in our bow hand we have notice how I'm going up, back into the frog, big compression there. I like to think about it as you notice how all of a sudden all this stuff is short. It's all short. It's all short. It's all short. It's all short, 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 short. It's long, 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 short, short, short. Okay, so what the idea here is juxtaposition. Hear how that very clearly sounds like, it sounds like 2 lines happening, right? And that's a cool effect, and that's always fun. So whenever you get a chance to do something like that, that's great. That draws the listener's ear, right? And you know, it helps push things around, and it's like, I found that this kind of phrasing and this kind of energy you know, not like adding in all this extra filigree and chords and stuff like that. You know, this kind of rhythmic energy, it's like people don't necessarily notice it, but they really do feel it. And I think that this just provides a cooler experience for people playing with you. And, you know, it's like new. It's like it surprises them. And all of a sudden then they start listening to you. And they're like, oh, this person actually is listening to me. And I think it just adds a nice little touch there, right? So anyways, let's just hear this last line now in context. So we have... right? And if you wanted to just end it, I guess you could go... My G string is so dead. It's like I hit it in the wrong angle and it goes... so we have... Okay, so now we've kind of learned this the way that I want to learn it. Now let's think about this with this energy concept that we're talking about and all this stuff. And let's think about this with the other texture, with the lighter texture. So we have a... So you'll notice I actually am thinking now, maybe not with the jumps, because it kind of creates this texture, right? You know, for example, you'll notice the instead of right, that sounds a little bit more like sleepy to me. It sounds a little bit more sleepy, a little bit more pastoral, right? Isn't that the word? That's the word, pastoral. Yes. So, you know what's interesting, now that I'm hearing this, I actually like that version a little bit better when it's going a little bit softer, though. Because I think in this one, it kind of, when it's softer, it's sort of, it already is ending. It's all offering you this gesture, and you don't need to go you don't need that ending thing. So, so I would also say on that last one, maybe that's when you want to go the... So, you know, some things to play with here. I would say this one in particular is dealing with, do you want to be doing things like this? Do you want to be doing them like a... You notice how I'm kicking with my hand a little bit there? And also the most important part, I will just say this, that is not a wrist stroke. The minute your wrist gets involved in that stroke, you're going to have a really bad time. You're going to be like... Right, this is like, I don't have any control over that right now, but I have a lot of control over. So this is where that pinky comes in hand, by the way. This is where if you use your pinky, you go. You notice how every time I lift like this, that's when the pinky sort of keeps the stick from just, you know. This is it with the pinky engaged. All right, so that's why I always advocate for my Baroque students, please keep the pinky on the stick. It helps. It helps. You know, you got to do the pencil thing where it like... So we have... Right, and that also helps with that G string. If you guys are having like a day like me where it's really dry, and you just got to make sure you're really paying attention to the fact that like... G strings are kind of hard to play, and you just got to really massage it. You know, don't try and, you know, muscle it out of the cello. I've always found when you're having a difficult G string day or a C string day, you know, you really want to back off it. I've noticed I have those hard kind of days when it gets drier and drier, and it is getting to be winter and, you know, fall, and so it's going to get drier, so you just have to make sure, be careful of that. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. You know, I have a thing for this. You know, we can do our happy fall. I need to get some new ones. I have this one, but this one is not quite ready yet. I need to get some like other stuff with it too. But anyways, Have a great week, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.